What did you learn from Robert X. Modica? Is that his name?
Oh, that was my one of my acting teachers.
Yeah.
Well, basically, he just taught this Sandy Meisner approach, which is based on listening. You know, putting your attention on the other person. I've had a lot of different teachers, but that was sort of the thing that we worked on. And you learn that, you know, your partner can do a lot for you in a scene, and it's not just about you. It's about dealing with the other person.
In a word, teachers have helped you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no one way. Every act is different, and people need different things depending on what you're asking them to do. But I think if people are pointed in the right direction and they're prepared and they're on time, there's a lot of different things that come with it.
Well, thanks to certain people like Joel and Ethan who have given me opportunity to do different things. You know, you have to be given a chance, and then it's up to you to, to be able to do that. But that's the reason, you know, I've wanted to be an actor, was not to do, parts like where I came from, or play always guys from Queens or stuff like that. So I like to do different type of things, and that's the reason why I act.
That you have to have an appetite for that. You know what I mean? Some people, they like the idea of it, but they don't want to do like the other stuff. It was like you have to give up stuff to discover new things. So I think there's something, very honest about people who can do something, who can make a meal, who can build a dress, who can build a bridge. And I do think that there's a lot to learn in that too. And I think when you see it, you watch someone do something, they don't have to talk. It's visual.
Right.
And I think this, not the whole world isn't made up of salesmen or salespeople. There's actually people who can do things. Everyone has a big imagination. All of us do. It's not just, I'm just giving, vent to mine. But it's not that different than other people.
It's also hard to look at yourself. I'm in every scene, so I'm not used to seeing that. So
Did you think you were no good in it?
Well, there were times that just, it's hard to look at yourself. Sometimes they have these angles, I look like a raccoon, and but sometimes I'm thinking, like, well, why don't I just get off screen? Like, I would watch a scene, well, that was good, and now get off.
Yeah.
Like, I just, get off, get out, And it's strange, the first time you see yourself, I'm really past that, but that's a really horrible experience.
It's excruciating when you first see the shape of your head on a screen.
Yeah,
and the kind
you
of...
say, well, that's not me. But this is different because I'm like watching, and then I start going through everything I did, and that's the reason why it came out. It's not that I liked or disliked it, but I'm like going through what I did. So I'm really like going through like the Barton Fink thing. So by the end of it, I am like sort of finked out, basically.
Yeah.
Eventually you prepare, and you can only be yourself. You can't imitate other people. You know what I mean? You can only be who you are. And I made movies. I've been offered other movies to direct, but I've made movies that meant something, to me. That's the joy of it, is the preparation. That's the joy of doing it. It's the making of it. That's the joy of it. You know what I mean? And then, then you have to do it within a certain amount of time, within a certain amount of money. But, a smaller film, you have to be very, very prepared. So that's something that interests me. But I've worked with a lot of, great actors as an actor and as a director too. So it's different every time. There's no one way of doing it.
When you say homework and assignment and coming ready to the set, what are you exactly talking about? It's only...
Well, knowing your text and working with the designers and the visual look of the film, and giving everybody else space too to work. So sometimes, actors can take up all the air in the room, and everything becomes about them, and that doesn't always serve the scene. But there's tricks, to do. A lot of directors don't know what to say to an actor, and sometimes smart directors won't say anything. They'll let you try it, and then they'll make an adjustment from that. But I don't like when someone gives me, this is what the scene should be, because that's like going out with someone and saying, hey, you should like me. You know what I mean? You have to get the person to like you. And then out of that, the person likes you. You know what I mean? So then that's what you see. But you can't say, you're going to like me. You know what I mean? You have to you have to negotiate that, in moment to moment, response and, between two people.
People say, well, they're really like control freaks. And I've read these, these interviews that they want to control everything, which is not the case. It's the case is they give you a lot of freedom. How you do it, they give you a tremendous amount of freedom. But if someone comes up with an idea that has nothing to do with what they wrote, and that's what happens sometimes, the guy says, well, I feel like vomiting in this scene.
Yeah.
And then, well, the scene's not about that,
Right.
They don't encourage that type of...
It might spoil the wedding scene. Actor said he felt the edge.
Although generally we don't discourage vomiting. We've had a lot of that.
Yeah, right.
Different movies.
Yeah, it's strong thematic.
But I mean, like, for, say like a love scene or something.
Right. Somewhere